Steve here from 11ish, a channel where we talk about lucrative investment strategies and opportunities based on the requests from the 11ish collective. Today we're going to talk about why Netflix is more relevant than ever. I want to share with you 3 important reasons why I think they are relevant today, and then I'm going to talk about some glaring risks that's involved in this investment opportunity. Finally, I'm going to wrap it up with my personal opinions of how you might want to treat this as an investment. So please make sure you watch every part. Don't just skip around and hear what you want to hear, because as an investment, you want to make sure that you have an unbiased opinion. All right, if this is the type of content you've been looking for, please hit the like button for me, and let's get started. Netflix is and has been the name synonymous to digital streaming. Over the years, it has built an ecosystem of technological innovations in streaming and revolutionized what streaming even means. In Netflix, you can find localized streaming content, user profile driven recommendations, content segmentation for ages, interests, movie shows, binge series. All of these allowed it to build the ecosystem that it has today. Relative to its low monthly fees, I dare say this has as much hook to us millennials and younger as does YouTube. This leads us to the first core reason why I think it's worthwhile as an investment opportunity. Because of the COVID pandemic, it has helped itself accelerate its critical mass. A critical mass is a term commonly used by us product managers to describe an ecosystem filled with users. There are so many users in this ecosystem that it self-sustains, meaning that as long as the company builds features that these users like, they will create that engagement that keeps this company alive with monthly subscription fees. It'll produce marketing material for the company for free. The best kind of marketing is word of mouth. And companies like Facebook has it, Google has it, Amazon, Netflix, etc., etc. The ability to reach critical mass is every company's benchmark holy grail. The second very, very positive thing that you'll see Netflix do quarter after quarter is that it owns and creates unique content. In the beginning, people feared whether someone like Netflix, who is essentially new to cinematography, let's say, would they be able to create engaging content over and over again. And if you look at what it's been doing, it has established itself as a unique content creator, but now an international unique content creator that is creating waves like no other company before. They're making history in the type of unique content, how you stream this content, the ways that it can bridge the users from one locale to another, right? Like we're all obsessed over content that's not even in our native language. Another way to describe why this is important for a streaming company is to say that if you just have quality content, in other words, you're basically leasing content from other content providers, then it's very easy for other people to copy you. But if you produce unique content yourself, suddenly you have a unique driver. This is why Amazon is creating unique content, Disney, Apple, everybody's creating unique content for this specific reason, right? This is exactly why Disney ditched Netflix. They suddenly realized that their content is unique enough to be a standalone product. Now they're monetizing like crazy. The last core reason why I think Netflix is a really amazing company to look at right now is this global economic timing of a pandemic, of us being locked in, and us having this realization that the e-commerce market is actually relatively way smaller than we originally knew. Meaning there is still a lot of people that's not online yet. Yes, the pandemic has accelerated the growth for anything that's e-commerce, right? Web conferencing, remote productivity, just buying shit in general, digital consumptions, but there is so much more room to grow. So in my opinion, because we are forced into this direction, I think we're forced into an acceleration of companies, anything that's digital, essentially. The beauty of this idea also is that if they see any, let's say, slowdown in the user growth, which they've actually said publicly, right? This pace is not sustainable, which I agree with. The next thing that they will most likely do, which you see from competitors, is to start offering premium services on top of their baseline subscription fee. Now, me as a Netflix subscriber, I may not personally like it, but if they do it the right way, us users, if we see value in this extra charge, we'll gladly pay for it. That's just the reality of things. Us subscribers paying for that equates to more and more revenue, upsell opportunities for the company, more value proposition for the end users. In terms of risks and warning flags, the first thing I really want to highlight is that at the end of the day, we are in a very precarious investment cycle, globally speaking. So please don't expect to make a ton of money in the next, let's say, 3 months. I think the market is incredibly volatile, so always keep that in mind right now. But if you look at Netflix PE ratio compared to its competitors, I actually think it's pretty reasonable. It's reasonable for a long-term growth opportunity. It's a little bit high on the scale of short-term risk. Second risk, as I kind of mentioned, wherever there is money, you can always tell the market is too big for its own good. In other words, digital streaming, unique content creation, within a year, a shit ton of competitors popped up. Right now, Amazon's doing, Apple, etc., and all of them are doing a great job. I think that a lot of money will be spent in this space to try to catch up to Netflix. But just like Zoom, Netflix is a household name now. It's their game to lose. It's a double-edged sword, right? So be cautious of that fact. In fact, if you're looking for a safer investment opportunity, I actually frankly recommend Apple. I think they're incredibly underrated for where they are in this technological revolution in terms of digital streaming as one, but also in self-driving cars, in mobile devices. There's a lot going on that can go right for Apple, and they have yet to disappoint since the era of Steve Jobs and thereafter. The third risk has to do with this current cancel culture. Netflix seems to have a very strong sense of their own moral compass. They draw their own bright lines. They pull out content with messages that they believe in, and very quickly dismiss anybody who's against those messages. If you believe in Netflix's story, like frankly I do, it makes me feel good about investing in a company like Netflix. But if you disagree with their approach or the message that they send out, then I highly recommend that you skip this, because you're going to kick yourself in the shin if anything goes wrong, right? You should never invest in something where you're not comfortable with it morally or ethically. And as we all know, the cancel culture, it can turn around a company, a business, a CEO really, really quickly in a dramatic fashion. So you have to take that into consideration, since this is in a prime media space with a lot of eyeballs on it. At the end of the day, I think if you were to invest in Netflix, I would put about a medium size of my bankroll into this investment opportunity, because I personally think the risk is relatively low. I would look at this as a longer term investment opportunity as opposed to a quarter earnings flip. There's a lot of investors who say that Netflix is best invested in when they're just about to put out a hit or have just put out a hit and earnings is coming up. Because when they put out a hit, that actually drives a lot of new subscribers and is going to be reflected in the quarter earnings that's coming up. So if you look at it that way, there's a very high potential that the earnings will look great, right? But again, I'm looking at it as a long-term investment opportunity, and I think that's what makes sense the most. So this is what I want to share with you today. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave me a note. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you next time.